Hey guys, this is Jacques from MakuluLinux. I said to the guys, or I said to you guys that I would be giving you a little surprise in the upcoming weeks, and it's time for me to make good on that promise. Now, I know a lot of guys were hinting or thinking that it might be something Makulu desktop related, and you wouldn't entirely be wrong, but you wouldn't be right either. It is not the Makulu desktop project. However, it does involve that project as well. The surprise is that the new Aero Build is just about ready to go live. It is in final testing stages, and there are quite a few updates to the system. Now, um, this build, which started off with a sort of an experimental build, uh, quickly became popular because it's the one that users complain about the most. They email me this, that, and whatever. But it seems to have gotten the most attention. The critics would focus on every little thing they could find wrong, and even the things that were intended to be the way they were. If they didn't like it, then somehow that would be, an issue with them. Whatever. Um, the fact is that I have spent quite a bit of time on that build, and in just a matter of what 2 3 months, I've actually worked tirelessly to bring you guys this update. So I'm ready to show it off, and hope you guys are sitting back and enjoy the video. Okay, so the first thing you're going to notice here is you have a new login screen. Very pretty, mostly transparent, as you can see at the top there. The panel is invisible. I am putting into live mode here, so this is pretty much your standard login screen. Got a beautiful background, really highlights the login box nicely. You got your avatar and you have your options at the top. Okay, so if I click login, okay, it's booting into the system. Just give it a second to load the quotes and wallpaper. Um, the wallpaper changes set on a 30-second delay. It's not a slow system. It is set on a 30-second timer, um, so it does not interfere with anything else that's loading in the background. So there we go. So when you boot into the system, the next thing you'll notice is the bottom panel looks the same as the login box. Okay, there's a reason for that, and I'll get into that all in a second. Now, there were a couple of issues that users moaned about. Number one, they couldn't update the system. They had to do safe updates and blah blah blah, and that bugged the hell out of some guys. Okay. Number two, they had issues with drivers. There wasn't a decent driver repo added to the system, and trying to add it manually just caused all kinds of problems. And there was a guide on the forum which was really easy to follow. It would take you like 5 minutes to do it. But apparently, the guys were not willing. Some people weren't willing to do that, and yeah, so driver issues were reported. And then, of course, the repo went down, so then people had problems updating from that specific repo. Okay, so there were a bunch of other things as well. Now, the reason I locked the system on a specific version was because the menus at the time, Cinnamon kind of broke all the plugins. All the menus would give out source actor errors when you open them and use them, and so I locked the version on 2.6.13 because that's the version I'd fixed the menu for, and that's the reason I locked it. I didn't want anybody updating Cinnamon to a newer build that would break the menus and the plugins and everything else I'd put in. Now, it wasn't that I couldn't make it compatible for the new version. It was just that, Mint has been bringing out drastic changes with all the builds that they're making, going from 2.4 to 2.6 to 2.88 and now 2.10 in such a short matter of time. And they're making major changes. Why, I'm not quite sure, because, or not why, but why they make changes on such a drastic level without taking the plugins into consideration, I do not know. they are now doing exactly what GNOME does, which is put out an update that breaks half the plugins and renders your desktop like plain. You can't do this, you can't do that, this doesn't work anymore, that doesn't work anymore. And you have to hope and pray that the third party developer that made the plugin or theme or whatever is still around and he's still doing updates. Okay, which most of them aren't. They put it out and make it stable and then they leave to another desktop or they're just gone. Some of those plugins are like 2 years old, 3 years old, and the dude's just missing in action, leaving all the users stranded. Plugin doesn't work anymore, there goes your favorite plugin. Now, I know GNOME does it, it's very annoying, and that's why I haven't put out a GNOME build for that specific reason. And now I see Mint is doing the same thing. Now, I don't want to flame their project, whatever. I mean, they made a beautiful desktop environment, so kudos and credit to them for that. But I really wish they would support their plugin developers more and at least take them into consideration when making major changes to their OS and not keep breaking that, because that's a really annoying. Anyway, so so yeah, that's why I locked that version. But I found ways around that, fixed that, and so with this new build, you can update to any version you wish. It's currently running on the latest one available, 2.8 point something at the time of me making this. I've updated the kernel to 4.4 point something something something. Um, so the whole system's updated now. It can update to whatever version. The drivers should work fine. I fixed a lot of, every time somebody posted a bug or emailed me about something, I would put it on my list, kind of work through the whole list and fix that all up. And so everything's working hunky-dory now as it's supposed to. I spent a lot of time doing that. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way and then start focusing on, apart from the kernel updates and the OS updates, what else the users can expect. So as you saw, you've got that beautiful login theme there, and if you get onto the desktop, you'll see the very much the same thing here. You've got this beautiful panel at the bottom. This is the more newer, updated Windows 10 look. You know, you've got the Windows 10 icons, the Windows 10 theme, you've got the Windows 10 borders, the Windows 10 controls. So this is very much looks like a Windows 10 system out of the box. Okay. Even the menus, everything. So that's pretty cool. It's got that whole flat Windows 10 look. And if you open the menu, you'll see there exactly again the same thing. Very nice stylish menu. You've got the favorites of the app favorites on the right, at the left. You've got your system favorites on the right. You've got shutdown, all programs, a search bar, and you can scroll your categories and apps as well. So pretty nice, pretty sleek. You've got the same look there as well, that semi-transparent Windows 10 theme. Okay, and I did not remove the ability to switch to different themes. If you still prefer the old look of the previous version, you can simply switch to Aero there, switch to Aero there, switch to the other Windows 10 there, and yeah, leave it on the Windows pointer, and there you go. You got pretty much your old look back, if that is what you want. The icons, I was actually running a different icon set, which is also there. Let's go to the icons and just change those to back to the Vista icons. So you can easily change and make it look the way you want. That's what was nice about this build in the first place, was that you weren't limited to a set look. You can kind of just switch between whatever you like, and there was just such a lot available to the end user. So yeah, so you can easily change by default, though. This is the look that it comes out with. It's very nice, it's very sleek, and of course it's the new modern Windows 10 modern kind of look. You have to, the OS must always represent newness and sleekness, and so it just made sense for me to use the more updated theme that just looks better. The other thing you'll notice is where previously, if you wanted to just quickly switch an image, you would normally have to go to image next or quote next. You can now just click on next over there, or previous over there. So quick and easy just to switch between wallpapers. It's just one click there. Well, two clicks because you have to bring this up. But there we go, 2 clicks and it's done. And of course, you still have your wallpaper selector over there, and you can just select any wallpaper you want over there. The rest of the menus all look really nice and cool. This is a very nice theme. I didn't make it, by the way. It's just an updated Windows 10 theme. It's really, really sleek. Usually with themes, if I find some themes online, I usually have to do some fixes and get like certain things sitting a certain way or feeling, whatever. I was quite surprised. This guy did a really good job. I don't know what his name is. He did such a good job, that I didn't have anything to fix. I was like, wow, there's nothing for me to fix. I was really shocked with that. Although who knows, a version or two from now, Cinnamon Mint might change something, and I might actually have to dig into the scripts and fix it. But hey, at this point in time, it's running really well, so happy for that. Okay, some of the other changes is that Chrome replaces Opera. Now, Opera is my favorite browser, which is why I included it in the first place. But there were some guys that requested that I change Opera to Chrome or Firefox, and I despise Firefox, so Chrome it is. Um, the other changes with the software was Clause Mail Evolution replaces Clause Mail. Um, VLC Media Player replaces Bommy. Now, I'm quite a fan of both. To me, I like VLC and I like Bommy. I like Bommy because I like the interface. It's really nice, sort of much more modern looking, and it's great. Has some really cool features as well, but I had users complain that, they were struggling to use Bommy. Now, there are two reasons I know that would be the case. One is VirtualBox, if they're using it inside a VirtualBox, or if they're using it on much, much older hardware. Then they'd have issues with Bommy, because with Bommy you need at least a minimum of 2D graphics, but 3D graphics recommended, like decent graphics to use it. And so I guess that would limit a certain amount of users. And although they didn't request that I replace it with VLC, I didn't feel comfortable knowing that there were guys out there that couldn't use the media player that came with it. It kind of just miffed me a bit, and so I replaced it, my own choice, with VLC. Anyway, so that's mostly the software changes, okay? And then let's go here to system info. I want to show you what version this is running. 2.8.4, kernel 4.4.0-18. Okay, so that's what it's currently updated to, for the guys that want that info. Okay. The other thing I want to point out is the constructor tool. Now, um, I've done quite a bit of work on constructor tool. The other one is still available. There's two. There's literally two constructor tools now. There's the one that I previously used and the new one, and both work equally well. I've ported code between the two to make the changes I needed. Some code was nice in this one I used on the other side, and some code on the other side I used on this side. And so, I wish I could just merge them and make one, but that's not quite possible. Um, anyway, the older one had the old style installer, and it was originally written for Debian, and then I made the conversion to Ubuntu, so it works equally well on Debian and Ubuntu, which is a great um, advantage of that constructor. It's actually one of the things I really loved about it. I also prefer that style of installer as well, because it has just so many more options for me. But I do realize that a lot of the users are new guys to Linux, or um, maybe not as skilled, and therefore a lot of people keep asking me every single release. They keep focusing on the installer, like almost like they're hinting, why don't I rather use the Ubuntu style installer, since 99% of the distro builders out there do that. Anyway, so I took some code of remaster sys, some code of Pinguy, and just code everywhere, and kind of just meshed it all into one and added my own code in there. So it's kind of like a mixture of some cool features that are, you know, everywhere. Since I don't really believe in rewriting anything, if something's done, I'd rather use that. And if something's missing, then I would do it myself. And as a result, this is the new constructor tool. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of a different menu here. But this is based mostly off the old remaster sys. There is some of my own code in here. I think there's some code that I pulled from Pinguy as well. Just a couple of features that I saw there, and some code from, I think, what were they called, the Black OS as well. It's a mixture of a lot of stuff. Okay, um, but then again, I had to write a lot of my own scripts as well, so there's quite a bit of my own stuff in here too. But the result is the new constructor tool, basically based off remaster sys, where the old one was based off refractor. And I still will be using the old one. I'm also making drastic changes to it. Each one will have their uses. This one is mostly um, more the Ubuntu based constructor tool. Anyway, so you have this nice new interface here where you have the option of backup the user directory, run the scale copy, run constructor, and of course, exit. So you can easily back up a user by, well, previously when I started implementing this feature, you had to click on scale copy, enter the username, and it would do the job. I've now automated it more to sort of stuff I've been doing on the desktop development. I've also ported into the constructor. It's kind of all becoming one project, kind of one big thing at the end. But when you select to back up a user, it will actually list all the users in the options menu up to 7 users. So if a user is listed, you can just select the user. Want to back up that user, you just click OK, and it would literally do the backup, and that's it. Done. Do it again. Click, back up the user. OK, and done. See how easy it is? Let's do it again. Back up the user, click, 2 clicks. That's it. All your configs, your home folder, everything's backed up. Just 2 clicks. You want to see it a fourth time? Click there, click OK, and there. Didn't have to do anything else. It's done. Okay, once you've backed up the user, you can just click constructor, and as you see, there it goes. That's it, done. It's now building. I'm going to stop the building. Obviously, I'm in live environment, but that's how easy it is. Run that, click OK, run that, done. ISO gets put into the snapshot folder, and you can just install that on any other PC with a whole new username and password and everything else, and keep your current look and feel and so forth. So really, really, really simplified to the point where the user cannot screw it up in any way possible. I cannot see how. So some nice new additions there. I'm sure the users will be pleased with that change. And as I pointed out, the installer is now more Ubuntu style installer. The same one Mint uses, the same one many other distros use. So it's kind of more that style installer, where you can just select your options, just looks very nice too with this theme. Very plain and white. I like it like that. Uh, just go through the options, select your options, just install, and that's it. It's very easy, very quick. Well, I think the old installer is actually quicker, but this one's much easier to use. And of course, the terminal and everything else pretty much still has the transparency that it had before. I didn't really mess too much with that, although I did put the menu bars to auto show, so they're not hidden. So I hate that when they by default hidden. The software sources is there, so you can still edit your source location. The software manager still unchanged. Synaptic package managers there. Pretty much the update manager, the Mint update manager is there as well. Pretty much everything that was in the old build is in the new build, minus a few software additions that were swapped out and so forth. Mostly this build was based on a lot of bug fixes, new repo added, the new constructor tool added, new theme updates, some back-end work because there's now also a Plymouth boot splash screen, which I'm not going to show now, but you've got a nice boot splash screen. And of course, then the next part that I want to get to is, and this is probably the biggest addition to this build, is the fact that I've made it fully compatible with the new upcoming Makulu desktop project. Now, I haven't really made an updated video since like, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, about the desktop project, and I will make a new video soon. I've just got to finish some stuff off first before I make the video. But I was also sidetracked a little bit by this build that I'm also, busy trying to get out. Um, I've started work on the desktop project where I started laying the foundation for XFCE, and you saw the demo I did with XFCE there. Then I started laying the groundwork for Unity, and then I started laying the groundwork for Cinnamon. So I've kind of started on all three, and a lot of work still on all three, but XFCE is the furthest along, Cinnamon to follow, Unity behind Cinnamon. But I've already implemented the ability for this build, this specific build, the one that I'm on right here, right now. I've put in the ability to update the Makulu desktop when it becomes available to users to update, which essentially means that once that desktop environment, once the Makulu desktop project is fully operational, users running this Aero edition can update to whatever newest look is, whatever's available, whatever features are in there will be available to you to update should you wish to do so. It will not be a forced update, it will be an optional update. And it's not something you will have to search for or go install or type in something to. It will literally just pop up on your screen and tell you this is available, this is what it looks like, this is what it does, these are the features, this is how it will affect your system. Do you wish to apply this update, yes or no? So the update will be presented to you and you will have the option to say yes or no. So that is how I'm implementing it at this stage, and that is how it will be in this desktop environment. Now, granted, this is not a rolling release because I'm actually working on a rolling release that I will implement the desktop project on a standard. But I did feel that um, anything that I put out now should at least have the ability to make use of that project should the user wish it when that project gets to a point where it is usable, if that makes any sense. Now, granted, this build only has a lifetime of what, about 3.5 years left, since it makes use of the Mint repos to get the Mint updates and also Ubuntu repos, and Mint is based on Ubuntu and blah blah blah, and all of those repos will die in 2019. So this build currently has a lifetime until somewhere mid 2019, so which gives the users about 3.5 years life out of it. But also remember that even though the official repos go dead, the users always have the option to upgrade to the newer repos. I mean, a lot of users do it. They download a Mint version, and when the new Mint repo goes live, they just add the repo into the system, do a dist upgrade, and then start using the new repo. That way they don't have to reinstall, they keep their system, and, blah, 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 blah. The Ubuntu users do the same. So, in that way, they kind of turn their own Linux into a rolling release because they just update until the point where they can't anymore, and then they reinstall. So, essentially, officially, this build has a lifetime of about 3.5 years, but users that know what they're doing can easily extend that to probably double that time. They can just go into the newest LTS repos or whatever from Mint and Ubuntu, and of course Makulu repo is one that will never end. So it's essentially they can also turn into a rolling release, and for that reason I wanted to give them this ability to be able to run the desktop project when it is available. So that has already been implemented. That's all back-end stuff. It's the foundation has been added to this build. So that, I think, is one of the biggest pros of this build. I mean, the build is awesome. The theme is awesome. The look is awesome. The bug fixes I've implemented is awesome. It's running well. It's running stable. I'm happy with it. But to me, the biggest pro here is the fact that when the desktop project goes live, which when it does, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be huge. It won't leave the current users of Makulu lying in the dust. They will literally be a part of it, without the need for them to go reinstall yet another ISO. So I thought that was a nice big pro. So a lot of work done on this. And I hope the users will enjoy it. And it's coming your way soon. Um, it's now in final testing, so just really depends because this is beta 2 already. It just depends on any bugs that the testers report back because I sent this build out to them today. I don't suspect there will be much. If anything, it'll probably be minor. Might be menu entries or some stupid thing that I missed somewhere. Um, but yeah, once everything's been verified, everything's good, I'll set a release date and it will go out. So I hope you guys are happy with it, and I look forward to making a lot more videos this year. Project's gonna go great, man. I'm very much in the zone now. This desktop project has fired me up like I haven't been fired up in a while. And I would really also just want to take a moment to say thank you. I see a couple of guys did donate. So I'm really happy with that. At least I've got enough cash to go through the next couple of months, well, the next 2 months at least. But I also want to implement the second repo now. So um, yeah, I'm really, really grateful to the guys that helped the project out, especially when I needed it. And I was really at the point where I was about to crack. So very, very big thank you for that. Um, and yeah, I hope though that the donations continue and that I don't find myself again in such a spot. But I just want to say a big, big thank you to there were like 3 or 4 donations, and I'm really grateful for that. And then of course to I think Craig, that also pledged $50 a month to the project. So at least I know I can keep the main repo going with that. I'm really grateful, dude. It was really nice of you. I will not waste that money. So yeah, thank you everybody, and I shall chat to you soon. Cheers.